My nails are the same colour. Really badly chipped, I might add. The police are outside, I hope they're not looking for me. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. About 2 months ago I posted like a first impression of the ENCHANT by JL Fairy Wand makeup brushes. The ones that look like this, Joanne Larby's makeup brush brand. And today I'm back to talk to you about how I feel about them now, a couple of months later, having used them, some of them pretty frequently. So I've washed these twice since getting them. Is that kind of disgusting? There are some of these brushes that I love, some that are fine, and some that are not performing as well as I think they should, and there are a couple that I actually haven't used. But I'm going to go into them one by one. Okay, I'm going to start with the foundation brush. This is it here. It is dirty at the moment. Comes with the territory, I'm afraid. I found this to be the most impressive, or one of the most impressive in my first impression. However, it doesn't work the same way since I've washed it. Also, I found it really difficult to clean. It was really hard. I had to maybe like scrub this 5 or 6 times to get it in any way clean, and it was still stained. And because I'm using it as a foundation brush, of course foundation is designed to stick onto the skin. It's going to stick onto the light fibres. I also find that the hairs kind of splay a little bit funny, and it just doesn't perform the same way anymore for foundation the way it did at its initial use. It's just not as good. It still works, it's still fine, it's just not as, oh my god, this is amazing, as I had initially thought. So I would not be using this frequently from now on. Next is the powder brush. I like this for a very specific use, and that is if I have baked my face or I have put like a lot of powder all over my face. I like this just to dust off the powder like so. However, I do not like this for applying powder because it's so floppy. I don't know if you can tell, it's really floppy. It tends to move product underneath in my experience. So if I have a foundation on and my concealer on and it's perfected and flawless, if I go in with a powder to set using this, I find it's too floppy and I can't really press with it because the fibres again are too flimsy. However, for the use of dusting off baking powder that's being used for baking my face, I find it good for that. However, for the application of setting powder, no, I don't like this for that use. Next up is the contour brush. I like this for contour, but similarly to the powder brush, I find that the bristles are just a little bit too floppy and movable. My Holy Grail contour brush, I spoke about it in my recent beauty favorites video. The fibres are really stiff, and see the way this moves quite easily? It moves way too easily, whereas the other one, like when it stamps down product, it's stamping down. It's not really movable. However, I have used this for contour. Yes, it definitely does work. It just doesn't make the job quite as easy as my other one, which has much stiffer bristles. So yeah, it's okay, it's good, it's just not as good as my Holy Grail. Next, this is what I've been using for highlighting. Again, it's dirty. This is a really nice highlighting brush. Really like it. However, it is probably a little bit big for the likes of what I like to use highlighting for. I find if I'm applying highlighter, it's going to end up like this kind of thickness on my face. Sorry, I'm really bad at explaining this. However, that doesn't take away from it. It's still a really nice brush. It's super soft. It washed really well. Really nice brush. Now for my favourite, like have been using it every day since, brush from the kit. It's what I've been using for blush. As you can see, it is, yeah. I didn't think I would like this because it was so big, but I find it's absolutely perfect to flick blush onto the cheeks. It blends it back to perfection. However, I do have some qualms in that the fibres are really uneven. There's a lot of splaying ones, one sticking out, some longer than others. I don't know if this is a quality issue. It still works fine. I'm just wondering how will that be in the long term? Will the fibres start to come out long term. I'm not sure, but I will keep you updated. However, this is my new Holy Grail blush brush. I've put all of the others to the back burner since getting this one. Really, really love it. Now for the eye brushes, there are two that I have not used. I'm going to start with those. The reason being, I already have Holy Grail brushes for those purposes and I don't really want to stray from them. The first one is the angled eyebrow brush. I feel like this is a little bit too thick for my brows. The one I use is like hair thin, hair stroke thin. And this is also, the bristles are quite long comparatively as well. So I feel like you'd lose a little bit of control. This could be your Holy Grail. It just, I haven't used it yet. Again, I think it's too thick for my brows because I like them to be very, very, very precise. But yeah, haven't used it. And the eyeliner brush, again, I haven't used it. I can barely use marker eyeliner, let alone gel. I'm really, really poor at it. So I haven't used this one either, so I can't pass any remark. I have, however, used the other 4 eye brushes a lot, and as a general rule I really, really like them. The first, I'm going to start with this one, which I wasn't quite sure what to make of this one. I use this every single day for blending shadow into my crease as a transition colour. After I've done all my makeup, if it still doesn't look quite blended, I use this to blend. It blends eyeshadow absolutely beautifully. Literally, you would not know this was synthetic fibres. Unbelievable brush, and if I could buy a couple more singularly, I definitely would. And Joanne, if you're watching this, please bring them out singularly because I will buy probably 4 or 5 of these off you. Next is another blender. I would liken this to like the MAC 217. Really, really nice. It's a little bit stiffer than a 217, but it does the job perfectly well. I use this to put kind of colour on the outer corner, or sometimes to lay colour flat on the lid, maybe some blending out as well, some smudging underneath the lash line. Really, really nice brush. I'd probably be buying a second or third one of these as well if they come out in singles. I'll definitely be buying another one of these. Really nice. We have an angled eyeshadow brush here. I again use this for smudging colour underneath the lash line, sometimes for dabbing colour in the outer corner, sometimes using colour in, or dabbing eyeshadow in the inner corner. I've actually used it for highlighting underneath the brow bone. A nice multi-use eyeshadow brush, very, very nice. I think this one is marketed as your general eye shader brush. I've been using this more for applying kind of highlight on the inner corner and maybe dabbing a little bit of eyeshadow onto the lash line. I find it a little bit too short for my preference. Some people might like that it's shorter, you'd have more control, you can pack more colour on. I would prefer something a touch longer, but it's really nice for its use. I really like that one as well. And lastly, I think this is marketed as a lip brush. I've been using this again just to apply highlight very precisely on the inner corner and not much else, but it does the job of that pretty well. I've honestly been really excited to record this video for one major reason. I'm really looking forward to kind of throwing this out. It's just so cumbersome, it takes up so much space in my room. I am definitely going to be dumping this. For some people it might make a nice, I don't know, like shelf ornament in their room, but I am definitely going to be giving this the toss. This is going in the bin today. When it comes to the handle length, I know a few people had issues saying that they seemed like short handled brushes. I find them to be really, really nice. This is a brush from a travel set by Sigma, and this is the Enchant Fairy one. So as you can see, you couldn't really compare the two. They are shorter than regular, but didn't really affect me, to be honest. Apart from the foundation buffer brush, I found they all washed nicely, they dried nicely, and they still perform the exact same as they did at the start. Would I buy a second set for myself to build up my makeup brush collection? No. If they were to be brought out to be bought singularly, I would be definitely repurchasing another blush brush for sure, and maybe 2 or 3 more of the large fluffy blenders and probably 2 more of the smaller fluffy blenders. Other than that, I would probably give the rest a miss. So yeah, there you go. Was it overwhelmingly positive? No. But was it overwhelmingly negative? No. Do I regret buying these? Definitely not. Buying these has definitely made my makeup application easier and my transition to cruelty-free vegan makeup brushes much easier as well. So I'm delighted. So yeah, there's my review. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!